If you want the single headline that tells you where this is going, agents are leaving the lab and clocking into your workflow. Google says its agent-to-agent protocol is already in production at 150 organizations. Microsoft is baking agent governance and even MCP-enabled tools into Copilot Studio. And on the factory and airport side, Japan Airlines is committing to a 3-year humanoid deployment at Haneda. This isn't theory, this is operations.
Yeah. The story today isn't AI is impressive. It's AI is getting organized. Platforms are hardening, governance is showing up, and once you can connect agents across tools with permissions, audit trails, and evaluation, the deployment curve stops being a science project and starts looking like enterprise software.
So the question for everyone watching, are you building for the agent era or getting reorganized by it? Hey, welcome to your AI future. The AI revolution isn't coming. It's here, and it's moving fast. But here's the good news. You don't have to figure it out alone. Every episode, we break down exactly what's changing, how it hits your career and your daily life, and the real steps you can take right now to stay ahead. This transition leads to abundance, and we're going to help you get there. Let's go. Let's start with what I think is the biggest story, the platform land grab. Google Cloud, next, is basically Google saying, agents are the new interface. They're rolling out Workspace Studio as a no-code agent builder across Gmail, Docs, Sheets, Drive, Meet, and Chat. And they're doing it inside what they're calling the Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform.
And they're not just shipping a builder, they're trying to standardize how agents talk to each other. The Next Web reports their agent-to-agent, A2A, protocol is in production at 150 organizations. That matters because most agent pilots fail at the handoff. One bot does a thing, then a human stitches the next step together.
Let's translate that. A2A is like your finance agent can securely hand a task to your procurement agent, which can hand to a legal review agent, and you can actually trace what happened. That's the difference between cool demo and we replaced a week of cycle time.
Exactly. The other key number, Google's model garden is reported as 200+ models. That means the platform pitch is choose the best model per workflow. Gemini, Gemma, third-party, like Anthropic Claude, open models. In implementation terms, you stop arguing about one true model and start optimizing for cost, latency, and risk per step.
Microsoft is making a parallel move. Their Copilot Studio update is basically an ops and governance release. Microsoft Agent 365 is positioned as a centralized control plane. Analytics Viewer role is GA. They're embedding agents directly inside workflows. And they even mention support for MCP server-enabled tools in preview.
MCP is a big deal because it's about how agents touch real systems. If you've ever tried to productionize agent actions, you know the bottleneck is permissions, connectors, and policy. Microsoft is saying, we'll keep that inside their compliance boundaries with DLP policies and admin control.
So you've got Google pushing interoperability, A2A, and Microsoft pushing governance, Agent 365. Analytics roles, DLP control. This is the real race. Not who has the smartest model, but who owns the deployment surface area.
And speaking of models, LLM Stats lists GPT 5.5 Instant as a lightweight release and xAI's Grok 4.3 as another recent iteration. Even if those entries don't give benchmarks, the meta story is clear. Model capability keeps moving, but the business value is increasingly in the platform layer, how you route, evaluate, and secure the model's output.
Now let's go physical. CraneShares had one of the most concrete humanoid in the wild examples. Japan Airlines deploying humanoids at Haneda Airport, and they call it a 3-year operational commitment.
That's meaningful because airports are high-stakes environments: safety, security, uptime. The article says the platforms are Unitree-based and roughly 15.4K per unit. If those economics are even close, the robot as CapEx conversation changes.
Right. And this isn't just airports. They cite BMW using Figure AI's Figure 02 robots at Spartanburg for 11 months, with throughput numbers: 30,000 plus vehicles supported, 90,000 sheet metal components loaded, 1,250 operational hours. That is not a weekend demo.
And then BMW is expanding to Europe with Hexagon's Aeon at Plant Leipzig, targeting a full-scale pilot by summer 2026. So you can see the pattern. Start with constrained tasks, collect safety data, then scale.
The part that caught my eye was the scale and supply chain signals. They mention Unitree filing for a 4.2 billion yuan IPO, with a target valuation around 7 billion, and targeting 20,000 units in 2026. If the unit volumes go from hundreds to tens of thousands, the labor conversation gets real.
Here's my take. Humanoids will be good enough before they're perfect. In warehouses and factories, the baseline is not perfection. It's consistent throughput with manageable error rates. The winning strategy is integration, humanoids working alongside fixed automation and mobile robots with human exception handling.
Which links back to the agent platforms. The physical robot becomes the last mile of an agent workflow. Plan, permission, execute, verify.
As this scales, regulation is moving, fast but fragmented. Transparency Coalition's May 8th legislative update reads like a fire hose. State bills on provenance, chatbots and children's safety, workplace AI disclosures, and AI in health coverage determinations.
And the practical issue is, if you're an enterprise, you don't comply with AI. You comply with 50 different risk categories: employment decisions, healthcare coverage decisions, advertising claims, data privacy, deepfakes.
Morgan Lewis makes the point bluntly. Even without a comprehensive U.S. federal AI statute, enforcement is happening now. FTC is using Section 5 for deceptive claims. SEC is targeting AI washing. DOJ is signaling False Claims Act theories where AI touches government-funded programs.
So if you're a company saying we're an AI-first org, great. But your marketing language and your investor language have to match reality. If you overstate, you've basically created your own regulatory risk.
Implementation takeaway. Treat AI like a regulated product even if you're not in a regulated industry. You need model documentation, evaluation, incident response, and a policy for what data can touch what model. And if you're deploying agents, you need the ability to pull the plug. Microsoft's governance emphasis is a response to exactly that.
Let's hit longevity, because there's a similar pattern. Serious research, and then a market that sprints ahead.
Nature Aging published a study in April where they tested senolytics in a mouse model of early-onset intervertebral disc degeneration. The dasatinib plus quercetin combo reduced degeneration severity and senescence markers, while navitoclax didn't show the same effect in that setup.
Translation: clearing senescent cells can improve outcomes in certain tissues, at least in animals. Not a miracle pill, but it's a real mechanistic thread.
Then you've got the NAD plus hype wave. NPR's reporting is pretty clear. The human evidence is still early and mixed. Most trials are on precursors like NR and NMN. Oral NAD plus itself doesn't absorb well, and there's almost no published data supporting NAD plus 4 infusions. One pilot suggested it's inefficient at boosting levels inside cells.
This is where we need adult supervision. If someone is spending thousands per month on NAD plus drips because TikTok said it's longevity, that's not evidence-based.
The New York Times piece on cellular rejuvenation captures the tension. Real lab advances are becoming testable therapies, while the consumer market is full of unverified products. The opportunity is huge, but so is the noise.
Rapid fire. Google says Project Mariner can run 10 concurrent web tasks and scores 83.5% on Web Voyager. Web agents are getting scary capable.
Microsoft is previewing WorkIQ API and agent-to-agent communication inside governed enterprise workflows. Multi-agent systems are becoming a product feature.
And on the labor front, CBS News compiled a list of companies citing AI and automation alongside layoffs. PayPal's reported 20% staff reduction plan tied to 1.5 billion cost savings. Coinbase cutting 700 jobs while pushing an AI-centric workflow. This is the earliest visible layer of AI-driven reorgs.
3 takeaways you can actually use. 1. If you're building with agents, start with governance, access, logs, evaluation, then scale. 2. Treat model choice as an engineering decision per step, not a religion. 3. For health and longevity, separate mechanistic science from consumer marketing. Ask, what's the evidence in humans?
And I'll add, your career strategy is to become the person who can translate these systems into outcomes. Not prompting. Outcomes. Cycle time down. Error rate down, compliance up. Look, this change is real, and it's not slowing down. But you showed up, you're paying attention, and that puts you ahead of most people already. If this episode helped you, do me a favor. Hit subscribe, ring that bell, and share this with someone you care about. Because the more people who prepare for this, the better we all come out on the other side. Abundance is where this ends. Let's get there together. This is your AI future.